Imagine waking up to find $300 missing from your bank account for a government grant you never applied for. In the case of Reyes versus Zions First National Bank, thousands of Americans didn't have to imagine it. They were victims of a massive, high-tech slamming scheme. The alleged fraud didn't start at a bank, it started with a phone call. Telemarketers lured people in with promises of free money, unsecured loans, or identity theft protection. Once they tricked a consumer into revealing their bank account information, the enterprise went to work. Because legitimate banks are usually afraid to work with these shady callers, the scammers used a middleman, a payment processor called Modern Payments. Modern Payments, a subsidiary of Zions Bank, took that stolen account info and triggered an ACH debit. This is an electronic transfer that pulls money directly from your bank to theirs. To keep the scam invisible to regulators, they allegedly mislabeled these transfers. They used a code meant for safe, signed written agreements, PPD, even though they knew no such paperwork existed. The smoking gun in this case was the return rate. Think of this as the frequency of failed payments. In a normal bank, only about 1% of transactions are disputed, but the telemarketers in this scheme had return rates as high as 90%. Internal emails showed Zions Bank and Modern Payments were alarmed and staggered by these numbers, yet they allegedly continued to process the debits to collect their fees. This case is what lawyers call a complete sham. The victims argued that because the entire business was a fraud, they shouldn't have to prove exactly how every single person was tricked. Instead, the massive return rates and internal warnings proved the whole system was a trap. The appeals court eventually agreed that this big picture evidence was enough to move forward as a class action. The lesson here? Your bank account should be a vault, not a revolving door for marketers. Always monitor your statements for small, mysterious electronic debits. And remember, if a free grant requires your bank info over the phone, it's almost always a very expensive trap.